What is up, my friends? How are we? You are very welcome along to tonight's late night agenda. Yeah, apologies, I'm a minute or two late. I was trying to have a little look at Mark Guehi's body language at the end of that game as Crystal Palace beat Aston Villa by 3-0. And by the way, side point, what on earth has happened to Villa? They look a shadow of themselves. So tonight, of course, we're going to talk about the clock, because that's what we're racing against right now. Isak and his camp are confident. We'll take you through what the journalists have been saying. Mark Guehi could have played his final game for Crystal Palace and scored an absolute worldie in that as well. So we'll talk about that tonight. Of course, I'm sure we'll have a little glow around the victory over Mikel Arteta's anti-football Arsenal. And we'll talk about being perfect. 3 wins from 3, top of the Premier League, and life not being too shabby. Good place to start is probably with our man of the match, Dominic Szoboszlai. And wow, what a free kick that was. Absolutely sensational from Dom. So Dean Henderson nudged Mark Guehi towards the Crystal Palace crowd to wave goodbye, but Guehi quickly shut it down. Henderson seemed to hint was his last time waving to the Palace crowd. Also, Costa's loan move has been confirmed as well. I'm sure you already know that. He's going to be there with AS Roma for the season ahead. But you all want to know about Isak, right? I'm sure that you do. So the state of play is, again, Liverpool holding their nerve, waiting and waiting for the time. My information is we will be talking 120 and that there won't be much negotiating after that. Liverpool feeling confident about this one. But of course, it's all very well and good saying that. We got to get the deal done, right? So Mark McAdam TV with Sky has said the big thing that Alexander Isak, with less than 24 hours to go now, feels confident that he will get his wish. He believes the stars will align and his desire to go to Liverpool will be fulfilled. On top of this, we've also got Lewis Steele on his YouTube channel saying Liverpool are running out of time. There's lots of moving parts in the next 24 hours. There's still confidence that an Isak deal can be done. That's from both Isak's end and Liverpool's end. The noises from Newcastle, we are still expecting that bid. And that is what this is all about. Them waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting because they need the money as well. So it's a matter of timing now. Do expect that bid to go in, but when Liverpool put that bid in, things will escalate and move really quickly if, of course, Newcastle accept it, which we believe that they will. Let's go with this one from Jimmy Holmes, who said, big win today. Oh, Jimmy, it was massive. Massive, mate. I was a bag of nerves going into this game. It wasn't a great game. It's not going to be an instant classic or anything, but I can't sit here and be unhappy with a clean sheet and a 1-0 win. I would have very much taken that beforehand, so I'll take it now. Yeah, delighted. Thought defensively we were brilliant today. To a man, every single one of them across the back line. Midfield, we wrestled back in the second half. We looked a lot better in that area. But ultimately, wow, what a moment from Daddy Daycare Dom with an absolute belter of a free kick that that'll be rewatched many times. Adam, have that Lego head. Arteta second again. Ole, ole. Look, I'm going to be really blunt about this one. Adam, they deserve nothing. And that's being fair about it. They didn't come to win that game. They didn't. They came not to lose it. And they got what they deserved, which is nothing. Did we deserve to win it? Maybe not, but we were trying. And at least we had that moment of magic. SDO said, love your video at League Gunner today, Craig. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. It was a very hectic day so far. Did the watch along, match reaction, jumped over to Lee's channel, did the reaction video, did the player ratings video, had a little 45-minute break and straight back on to talk about transfers, because that's all that the next, 22 hours is going to be about. It's crazy. And I know, I absolutely understand the anxiety from everybody, because I'm sitting here trying to do the numbers as well, thinking, right, medical and all. You don't even care about the club media. That can happen afterwards. But this frantic dash to get a medical done, to get the deal sorted out between the clubs, to get the contracts ready, you'd have to imagine that Liverpool have a big chunk of that on standby at this point. Now, of course, do need to remind people ahead of time as well that if we get to tomorrow and it's late in the window, you can apply for that deal sheet, that extension for an hour or two. But ultimately, we're just waiting for the bid, because that's what this is about now, right? Craig Bone said, been watching Arsenal fans' reactions on the game and they finally agreed with you, Craig. They didn't come to win and played with 3 defensive mids and showed no intent. That's Mikel Arteta's biggest problem as a manager, that I've seen. In these big games, he doesn't want to lose them, but he doesn't deserve to win them a lot of the time because he doesn't put the trust in his players. Because he has good players, but they don't get to express themselves. And by the way, speaking of expressing yourself, what a goal from Mark Guehi. I'm not sure if you've seen it or not, but he scored an absolute beauty today as well for Palace's second one. How dare we beat Lego Head? Dom is starting to get loved by every one of us. And it should be a good example, Patrick, as to why players sometimes need a bit of patience and a bit of time on their side, because Dom took a bit of time to grow in, settle in, but look at him now, undroppable. Tanya said, Craig, have you got any sleep? I got about 4 hours, Tanya, and I'm not expecting much more than that today either. I'll probably collapse at about 7:05 tomorrow, but until then it's going to be flat out as everybody's trying to figure out what's happening. And right across the football landscape today, it is madness. There are deals coming together everywhere. So, as much as I'm going to inform you guys when things happen, we need your help here as well. You keep us up to date with what's going on. We know Costas, that move is done, as we mentioned. Not really expecting many more outgoings, if any, from Liverpool before the window shuts. But it is, of course, about the 2 signatures we want to bring in, which is Mark Guehi and Alexander Isak. Where was I? Sorry, from that one. This one. Raya blaming the match ball. What? Sorry, Fly, you can go away. There's a fly on my day. Raya blaming the match ball. What, the one that he picked out of the back of the net? That one. Look, leave him to it. It was just a belt of a free kick. It's an absolute embarrassment for a goalkeeper to be beat from that distance, by the way. But, you know, we don't care, do we? Our boys stuck it in top bins. Jack said, hi Craig, hope you're doing well. I thought Wirtz played much better today, especially second half. I think we get the 2 we want signed. What do you think? I think we get them done as well. The one that's always been more doubtful to me, like I've said, is ironically the one that the bid is already in on, which is Mark Guehi. He's not used to the Puma ball. So it's, yeah, right. He's got to regret saying that. That is going to come back to haunt David Raya, because the memes are already going to be, getting done, I suppose. But look, pick it out of the back of the net, mate. Doesn't matter what brand of ball it is. You have to pick it out of the back of the net, and that'll do for me. Wirtz was good, Jack, particularly second half. He's growing into it, you can see, and it's taken a bit of time. But like as that game went on, we figured it out and we started to find ways. Arna, speaking in his post-match presser as well, was very interesting. Basically saying the first half Arsenal went man-to-man, counter-pressed us, kind of got the upper hand a little bit. Second half we started to figure it out a bit. And look, let's be honest, it only ever looked like one team was going to go on and win that game, if somebody was going to win it, and it was us. And I'll take it. 9 points from 9. Nothing wrong with that. 2 difficult fixtures out of the way as well. Newcastle away, Arsenal at home. Jordan said, Craig, a free kick is a set piece, right? Yes, sir. Yeah, set piece again. LFC 1-0 set piece, Merchants. Yeah, we'll take that. I don't mind it. Like I said before the game, I don't care if we win 4-2, 5-4, 7-6, as long as we win the game. And nothing wrong with a 1-0. I'll tell you what, that was a much improved defensive performance from our boys. Rival fans annoying me with their belittling of Wirtz. Give the lad time to adapt. We saw improvements in his game. So, and for sure in the second half, said Adam. So Adam, for me, mate, it's more our own fans that are winding me up about Wirtz, because I expect it from opposition fans, but a little bit surprised that our own fans haven't gotten off his back, because already in that first half he was getting pelters, and it just seemed, and Curtis Jones as well. He came on and he was already getting crap, and I don't know what game these people were watching, but I thought Jones certainly helped us a lot when he was on. You could see Mac isn't fully there yet, still kind of in search of his rhythm, but Dominic Szoboszlai, Imperious. I thought that was Milos Kerkez's best performance in a Liverpool shirt so far as well, by a long way. He was exceptionally good today, as were both their centre-backs, as was Joe Gomez. Yeah, it's just wins today. Very, very happy Liverpool fan here today. Craig, I'm wondering whether you noticed Slot and Connor Bradley talking in the tunnel before the second half started. Bradley went back down the tunnel. I did, and I don't know why, Joe. I assumed that they were talking and maybe he was about to come on and be a substitute. But I don't know if there was something else. But you are right. Right at the end of it, you could see him and Bradley talking, and then Bradley went back down the tunnel. So I don't know, Joe, mate, honestly, as to what happened. But I did notice it, and you're spot on. You didn't imagine it anyway. Where are we at? I think we agree a deal for Guehi tomorrow morning, said Milan. See, I don't think Guehi leaves Birmingham now to go back down to London. It would make no sense. Right now, he's about halfway between Liverpool and London. Maybe a little bit more than halfway. My English geography isn't great. But I think it's about 3 hours roughly towards London and about 2 hours towards Liverpool. So honestly, I'm expecting him to head north. Because if he doesn't, well, we've just added a few hours onto the trip for no reason. So yeah, it'll be down to Steve Parish and what he wants to do. You'd have to imagine at this point, with the offer in, Guehi being a model pro again out there, putting in a great shift for Crystal Palace, scoring a goal. He's done what he can, but chairman needs to give the sign off before these things happen. SDO said McAllister and Gravo are an immense two CDMs pivot. Let Wirtz and Szoboszlai fight for the 10 role. Imagine if Isak and Guehi join. 9 points out of 9. Well, I think they will join for what it's worth. Well, certainly, I know this feels really counterintuitive, but still have more confidence on the Isak deal, even though the one we put a bid in for publicly is Mark A. I just wonder whether Glasner's getting into Steve Parish's ear about it. But hopefully they're happy with that win today, Palace. A very good 3-0 away win. And hopefully that, pushes Guehi in the right direction. Played an incredibly dangerous game with Isak. If we don't get him, we're left very short in attack. Only Chiesa today who has an appearance. Sorry, there's a fly here that's annoying me. It is a dangerous game, mate. No, Albert, you're spot on. But there's a reason for it. So again, it is going to be about timing. And it's about a lack of reaction time as well. So I know we'd have all loved this bid 3, 4, 5 days ago, a week ago, 2 weeks ago. But it's about getting it done at the numbers we want. And that's what this will be about. Do you remember a post that was put out? I don't know if it was Lewis Steele or Ben Jacobs. But one of them said that even though Newcastle scoffed at the £110 million offer, Liverpool's valuation of Isak was never getting close to the 150. And they said wasn't too far off what we'd actually offered. So I'm thinking, I'm not thinking. 120 is where Liverpool's heads will be. And I expect that to be the offer that drops on Newcastle's table. And I expect Newcastle to accept it. And I expect it to be a race against time for Isak to get everything done. But when exactly we get public knowledge of this, I think only Richard Hughes maybe knows the answer to that one, and the Liverpool recruitment team. We're all waiting because, it can't go on forever. Isak's going to have to get moving. Newcastle are going to have to try get that extra forward in. I've seen Visa put out a statement about his situation. Not sure, haven't been able to keep up to date with what's going on with Wolves and Strand Larson. Obviously we've been playing today, so I've been doing that, so I don't know what's going on there. I know they were looking at a striker from Genk or Ghent, I can't remember which one. But you're going to have to help me out on that one, folks, because I really don't know what's going on there. Slim Shardy, 71, said 3 wins, 9 points, not firing on all cylinders, but big improvement today. Clean sheet and much better defensively. Roll on Burnley away. Reds will only get better. Yeah, look, even just looking at it objectively, taking it in out of the question, the form that we've showed. For us to have gone through these first 3 games with a maximum amount of points, I'm not going to lie, I didn't think we'd get it. Even going into the game against Newcastle and Arsenal, I publicly said it, and I'm not going to backtrack. I would have taken 4 points. But we've got 9. Perfect. City have dropped 6 points already. So we've already got a nice little gap on them. We've got Arsenal at home out of the way. We've got Newcastle away out of the way. So I'm really happy as a Liverpool fan and expect improvements as we go on as well. Thank you so much, mate. That's very, very kind of you. I can only be me. It's all I know. Yeah, it's all I know. I know sometimes it can get a bit tasty, but hey, I can only be me. And at the moment, an excitedly happy Liverpool fan, but again nervy. Keep waiting. Keep looking for the notification. Keep waiting to hear the news drop. The bid's gone in. Romano's been quiet. Ornstein's been fairly quiet on it. Everyone's just waiting. And that's one thing that keeps coming through no matter who you read. It seems like Newcastle are actually shocked that this phone call or this email or whatever way they're communicating hasn't come in yet. Because you keep hearing the same thing. Newcastle expecting it. Newcastle waiting for it. But Liverpool, they're leaving it late. But it's about the result. If it comes through and it works out, we'll all be sitting here calling it a genius move. If it shits the bed, then we've got questions. Because you're all right. Anybody who thinks that we do need the extra body, I can't push back on it. We absolutely need another forward. We do. Definitely. The one I'm very interested in, though, is the Mark Guehi one. Because we don't know what's going on with Canade, but we've seen today he's capable of getting back to playing well. Gomez, what happens there? I'd be very surprised if we sell this late. But if Guehi comes in and Canade's, let's say, running down the deal to leave for free, well, it's going to be one hell of a selection of centre-backs that Arna has to pick from. Gomez, Virgil, Guehi, Young Leone, and Canade. I mean, give me those centre-backs for the year and I will tell you that I think we can go very far and win a lot if we get the extra body up top as well. Itachi, how are you, my friend? Today, I wished we could bring Ekitike or Isak in on a half-time. We needed depth up front. That thing that is that still on? Give me a big smile. So, I think over the last 12 hours, maybe 24 hours, it started to become pretty clear what the game plan is here for Liverpool, right? And I've always said to you guys, it's about timing. So, the only thing I think that can mess up the plan is if we don't put that bid in. Now, my understanding and information is the same as everybody else's in the media or anybody else, that there's an expectation, an understanding, a belief that it will be done. That Newcastle's resolve has changed, that Liverpool will come forward with the bid. As Romano said, and I did not know the information Romano had, Liverpool have been offered 4 big players over the last week. Turn down the chance of them all because they want Isak. The manager wants Isak. So I just want the moment where the offer's in. And we know that the offer's in. And then we can start to look ahead. Because until then, everybody's just waiting. The journalists are waiting. The fans are waiting. Newcastle are waiting. And there cannot be much more wiggle room in this. Like, we're running the clock down. We are now 23 hours, 39 minutes left to get everything done. So, this Nicholas Jackson to Bayern deal, 100% off. Decision made a few minutes ago. Bayern have officially pulled out. Jackson and Ali Barrett will fly back to England. So, that one not working out there for Bayern either. Where was I at? I've done that one's VI Jokers, I think, next. Can anybody see Arna keeping Szoboszlai at right back? I don't know, mate. I really don't know, but I know I love him. And I know he's... Arna spoke rightly about him today, that he's just doing the job. Whatever he's asked for the team, he's doing it, and he's doing it to the best of his ability. That's brilliant. That makes me very happy. That's, again, speaks volumes about the types of players that we have at the club. But what does happen when Jeremy Frimpong comes back? It is an interesting one, because I want to skip a few super chats for a sec just to get to Russ's one. Because, mate, if anybody said anything different, Russ, I think they're fooling themselves. Look, nobody's saying Mo's finished or anything like it, but you can't ignore that we're not seeing enough. When did we look most vulnerable today in that game? when we turned over the ball. And more often than not, Mo was the one doing it. And it wasn't from a want of trying to make things happen, but for whatever reason, it just isn't clicking. The balls aren't clicking, the passes aren't clicking. Something's not right. And I hope we can figure it out, because he's a big part of why we won the league last year. A massive part of it, with 52% or something like that involvement in our goals. I'm still happy that even having this conversation, Russ and everybody else, that we're talking about this from a point where we've still won our 3 games. So if Mo can go through this phase, this fly is doing my head in. If Mo can get through this phase and we're still winning, well, imagine when he works it out, and imagine when Vert starts clicking. But pressure has to be put on his shoulders, because we do need options. And again today, finished the game on the pitch, and I don't know why. Jordan said, Craig, how many hours sleep am I getting tonight? Also, that Dumfries kick was alright. It was alright, yeah. So, some words from Mark Guehi, and I think these words speak volumes. Let me read them out to you. I grew up in South London, and this club means a lot, but it's the next line that tells you everything you need to know. It has been an honour to captain this football club. Not it is an honour, it has been an honour to captain this football club. So surely he's saying something without saying something there. My wife's in there smashing it. What are you breaking up now, you aggro bitch? She's always breaking up my coffee cups. Another one she smashed in the kitchen. Am I missing something here? Does my wife actually hate me? Where are we? Charlie said, breaking news, Arsenal have launched a missing persons report for striker Gyökeres, last seen in the back pocket of Canada. What does he bring? Genuinely, what does Gyökeres bring? Because he was invisible again today. And, you know, neither striker really had the supply, but I seen Ekitike putting himself about and working and trying. Gyökeres was just anonymous in that game. Where was I at? Guehi was given some pretty solid hugs at the end of the game as well. Yeah, he was. And look, it's a great get for us if we bring in Mark Guehi. Honestly, it is a very, very good deal and a very good player. And I can't wait. I can't wait, Chad. I'm buzzing. But of course, we still need the confirmation that shit's happening. Leach said, this time, it was our forwards who couldn't find the breakthrough, but the difference was brilliant. All of them to a man. You'll never walk alone up the Reds. It was brilliant, mate, and it's only fair of us to be kind. We called for better defensive performance, and we got it. You know, that's what I'm really happy about today. A lot of these games are going to be tight. But, yes, we had the moment, and it was a special moment from Dom, but we wanted a better defensive performance. We wondered if Canada could stay focused. Brilliant. He was phenomenal. They were all phenomenal at the back. Really impressed with our 2 full-backs, how they stuck to their task. Even though they were beaten for pace on a couple of occasions, they kept getting back around. They kept getting their challenges in, their blocks in. I've nothing but admiration for the way they defended today. And if we can carry that forward and find the balance between being rigid and being able to go and attack, I don't think we'll be too far away. Sebastian said, I understand the lateness of the Isak move, but the Guehi one seems proper negligent. I guess it depends on the thought process of why we're moving for Mark Guehi, right? Because we did need the extra defender, and we got that with Leone. But then again, we're told Leone's one for the here and now, and he's not even in the squad today. These are the things that wind me up. You know, Diaz gets sold, and we're told Rio Engamoa is going to be given the time. Well, he's not really, is he? And then same with Leone. He's ready for the here and now. He's brought in, well, he wasn't even in the squad today. So these are things that we need to figure out. Mark Guehi, speaking about speculation, said, I'm okay. I don't like the limelight too much. Cameras in my face and people constantly talking about me. And he does seem like the type of lad who wants to live a quieter life as well, to be fair. Eddie said, Romano said yesterday there were 3 strikers offered to Liverpool. Do you think we've at least last minute options? At this point, I can't see how there is last minute options. It feels like all our eggs are in the Isak basket now, mate. And I think he said 4, if I'm not mistaken. I think Romano said 4 players were offered to Liverpool. The question is, Craig, who would you have taken off the bench? Now, that is a fair point, and I was considering that earlier on, Hammer. Let me have a quick look at the bench, mate, and then I'll try to give you a fair answer on it. So 1 sec, dude. Bear with me. Where was the squads earlier on? Where's the bench? Where's the bench? Okay, so Liverpool bench today was Gomez, Endo, Bradley, Chiesa, Jones, Elliot, Mamardashvili, Robertson, Rio. Who would I have taken off there? Probably Rio. But I understand why you keep Rio on there as well. So it is a fair point you've raised, and it is going to be a difficult decision for the manager. But let me put it a different way. If we had, let's say, Matip still at the club, I don't believe Matip wouldn't have been on the bench. That's the kind of point I'm making, although your point, Hammer, is also a very fair one. And it's always easier to have these conversations after we win, isn't it? So yeah, I love picking the bones out of stuff when we win. It makes it easier. Does the transfer window end tomorrow? Yes, it does. It ends at 7 p.m. as well, so it's not even an 11 p.m. finish tomorrow. It's a slightly earlier one than we're used to. Okay, playing catch up again. Cool. So this one from Frozen said, previous season, Gravenberch to DM brought the best out of him. This season, Dom to right back, say no more. Arneslaw, la. The really interesting part, Frozen, I think comes when Frimpong is back to see what he does, because you could make an argument that Frimpong could go to the right side of Salah's position for a game or two and leave Dom at right back. But I just wonder how longer Salah's form has to be shaky before the manager feels he has a call to make. You know, what way do you do it? Do you start not playing him from the start? Or do you keep playing him and start moving him off at 70, 65 if it's not working? Because you got to have fair enough respect, and as well, respect for the ability to have one moment that changes a game. But how long do you keep waiting and waiting and waiting? And that I don't know the answer to. Arsenal fans blaming the ref. What? Seriously? For what? I actually thought that referee was alright, you know. First half, I thought he was giving Arsenal a few fouls for niggly things that I didn't like. But overall, I thought Chris Kavanagh dealt with the game okay. I don't know what the hell they could be blaming the referee for. Arsenal fans, look, let me address them directly. If you want to assign blame today, which is of course your right, look at your manager, because he's the reason. It's as simple as that, and I don't know how there is anybody left defending Arteta that doesn't think he is a bottle job in the big games. He goes not to lose. He doesn't trust his team to go out there and win. Like, look at us in Man City over the years. Many of those games between Jurgen's Klopp's side and Pep Guardiola's side. End to end. We'll score more than you. We'll outdo you. Our midfield will outdo yours. Our forwards will outdo yours. That's not Arteta. Spends all this money for what? That was shite. That was anti-football. That was an away in Europe performance. That was shocking. Not an I want to lay down a marker. You know? To be the guy, you've got to beat the guy. And Arsenal, under Arteta, don't want to win away from home in the big games. They just want to not lose. And that needs to change for them, or else they're going to be finding themselves looking for a new manager, because his football is terrorist football away from home. It's just so horrendous. Even Peter Schmeichel was calling it out and sticking up, saying there's only one team there that wants to play football, and it's Liverpool. So, our Lukey boy, our amigo, Mr. Luke Edwards, the backtracking's happening. Big breaking. Newcastle will consider selling Isak without a replacement, from Luke Edwards of The Telegraph. Newcastle will give serious consideration to letting Isak sign for Liverpool if they receive a bid of 130 million on deadline day. Well, one, the bid will probably be 120. And two, why are we waiting for deadline day? Do it now. But as you can see, Newcastle are briefing these guys. You seen it with Craig Hope last night. Expectation, waiting. When's the bid coming? Liverpool haven't gone away. Liverpool will be back. So, as you can see, bottom of the screen, yellow bar, we have a countdown timer now to when the window shuts. So, it keeps ticking down and we keep waiting and waiting. So just to read that out again, from Luke Edwards of The Telegraph and credit Anfield Sector for their post on it. Big breaking, Newcastle will consider selling Isak without a replacement. Newcastle will give serious consideration to letting Isak sign for Liverpool if they receive a bid of 130 on deadline day. There's been a lot of ultimatums from Newcastle, hasn't there? And they haven't followed through on one of them. I don't think they'll get 130, but maybe some back channel communication between the clubs will let everybody know what it's going to take, and then it'll be up to Liverpool to decide if they want to put through the 130 or stick to the guns at 120. Matt said, Craig, sorry if this is annoying, but I've been on a flight and offline all day. What's the new slot expecting in regards to transfers? Not annoying at all, Matt. Absolutely understand that. I've done the same myself, mate. So it's kind of as you were, mate. We're just waiting for Steve Parish to give the nod for Mark A to go to Liverpool and get it all done. Like I said earlier on, I feel like he's halfway between London and Liverpool right now, as they're at Villa Park. I would be amazed if he travels back down and he doesn't start heading towards Liverpool, because it makes sense once Parish gives the nod. And Isak, it's almost like at this point, Matt, Newcastle are begging Liverpool to put in an offer. And Liverpool are biding their time and waiting and waiting. And I'm shocked that we still haven't heard it publicly, that this offer has gone in. Honestly, I am very, very surprised. I thought it would have been yesterday. So it's a dangerous game, as somebody pointed out earlier on. If it comes together, it's glorious. But we do know 21 hours, 24 minutes left in the window and a lot to get done. Barry, thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Barry Clough, thank you, sir. Liam said, if the wingers were sharp, I actually think Wirtz played great. More so second half, multiple passes into key areas for Salah that came to nothing. Salah was breaking down so many of our attacks today. And like I said, turning over possession as well a lot of the time. I'm adamant he should have shot when that ball was played to him from, I think it was Wirtz, across the front of the 18-yard box, that he took a touch. Whether it was behind him or not, you don't have time to be taking the touches in those positions. You got to hit it. But Wirtz will come good, Liam. I think a lot of people just expected him to hit the ground running. And again, the price tag does bring an added pressure. But like you said, he came into the game, grew into it more in the second half, and I think he'll relish the challenge of the Premier League. Rumour around Liverpool that Trent has messaged Canada and told him not to come. No idea if it's true, but explain why he raised his game today. Look, give the man his credit today, Ibu. We all called for a better performance and he delivered. Brilliant. Impeccable today, and I was so happy to see. Because like I said, keeping clean sheets goes a long way to helping you when you only need to put one in then. And we did that today, and I'm really, really proud of that defensive performance and all of the defenders, because they all upped their game. Maybe not Verge, because he was already playing at a very high level, but they all upped their game today. 2-man, they were fantastic. Didn't shirk the responsibility. One of my favourite moments of the game came right at the end, and it was Milos Kerkez's kind of sliding challenge on Max Dowman, that he came through with the ball and went darting up the pitch with it. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Loved the tenacity of it. Loved everything about it. Jordan, how are you, Jordan? Said, mate, if we got Guehi, Gomez to right back with Connor, play Frimpong at right wing, let Harvey play more and push Wirtz into a forward role if he needed there. I don't know. If he is needed there, I don't know. Elliot one is very interesting because looking at it logically and looking at it without my love of Harvey Elliott, which I do have massively, I don't understand how a player who last season felt like he didn't get enough game time, which he didn't, looks at Wirtz coming in and thinks that there might be more game time to be had. So I'm not sure what happens with him between now and the end of the window. The signs seem to be that he's staying, but I just struggle to see where he gets the minutes and where he can push on like he wants to. But selfishly, as a Liverpool fan, would I be upset if he stays? Of course not. No, not at all. But it's a surprise to me. But maybe Liverpool don't want to trigger something until we know what's going on with the Isak situation, which of course we're the ones in control of at the minute. So, shall we ask the age-old question about how you're feeling? So, let me just type this out. So let's give you a couple of answers. I have a very weird question for you. So, before Alexander Isak really came on our radar in this summer's transfer window, am I the only one who thought his name was spelt with either a double S or a double A? I couldn't believe when it was just Isak. In my mind, for some reason, I swear his name was Isaac or Issak. Really weird question, but an honest one. And one more. Right, so who do we sign? Nobody. Isak and Guehi. Isak only or Guehi only. And we'll come back to that in a little while. You are the only one, mate. It probably was, to be fair. Like, my spelling's shocking at the best of times. But, yeah, I always thought it was like Issaak or something. And I kept, when we were being linked with him, when I was writing out my notes and stuff, I kept having to go back and back and back and double check that it was just as simple as Isak. Ben said I thought it was a double S. So, yeah, look, maybe it is just me, but appreciate your honesty anyway, folks. Thank you. Right, let's keep going. Where was I at? Jordan, I've done that one. Chad said, I think I said it 2 weeks ago. Mo keeps trying to pass through defenders. You absolutely said that, Chad, because it's stuck in my mind since you said it. I still love the guy, though. He reminded us a big point in the season why we love him so. Yeah, I think when you said it to me, Chad, about passing through players, it really hit home. Because the only one today I can remember that he didn't hit the first man with was one he went outside of the foot on. It was a high cross and then Raya came and claimed it. But other than that, I think you're right. He's just not getting... It feels like it's a timing thing. Because if there's one thing I would say Mo's added to his game in recent years and has impressed me with, it's that final ball, the pass. It's been a huge extra addition to his game. Whitehammer said, Guehi said it's been an honour to captain this club. Oh, sir, that wasn't lost on me. Yeah, the very specific wording of it, because you're not saying it is an honour. He said it was an honour. Or sorry, it's been an honour to captain this football club. And to be fair to Mark Guehi, he's always played like it's been an honour. You can see what Palace means to him. And one thing I know we're getting, if we get him, is a class act. He oozes class. The man is class in every sense, which makes me think he will fit well in our dressing room as well with another good group of people. So, yeah, really, really classy guy and a classy footballer as well. Barry Club, thank you, mate. Appreciate that. Another player announcing themselves, said Bradley Hull. Mark Guehi. Yeah, certainly looking like he feels like that move's there, isn't it? Hex said, we win against Arsenal and former Red Milner scores a goal to beat Brighton. I think Milner is still going at 39. What a week for the Reds. Jimmy Milner just is a footballing god. There's nothing else to say on it. Jimmy Milner should be a case study and an example to future generations of young players and coaches as to how to look after yourself, how to prolong your career, how to live and act like an athlete. He's just class. He just oozes class. And I've nothing else to say about Jimmy Milner. The man is just a footballing god. And I mean that in a whole holistic sense of the word. And it was a pleasure and a privilege to have him at our football club. He really helped bring that winning mentality to help get us over the line to get that league title with Jurgen. And I think we'll all be forever grateful to Jimmy for that. What's this one? Okay, so a bit of good news coming in around Mark Guehi. Lewis Steele said Liverpool are getting closer to an agreement to sign Mark Guehi. Told tonight there's a good chance of a deal happening. Palace holding out for 35 plus 5. Liverpool are definitely active. 21 hours to go. So the vibes around that one are looking good. But again, looking good and deal agreed. Player offers medical. We're still waiting for that. By the way, one thing this window has taught me, and the lateness in the window, is don't ever tell us football fans that these transfers are complicated and take months to put into place. Don't give us that bollocks anymore. Because how many deals are we going to see done now in 24 hours across the football landscape? So yes, maybe tracking down your players takes a while to figure out who you want. But don't tell us these deals can't be done quickly. Because once again, we're seeing an end to a window where who knows how many players will be signed up and sold over the next 21 hours. Sonder said if Isak comes, I think Gakpo goes on the bench. Tough one. It's a tough one, and I'm glad sometimes I don't have to make these team selections because I like Cody Gakpo. Sometimes I feel he's a bit one-dimensional. Sometimes I feel he's lacking in a little bit of pace. But he chips in with his goals every year. And he doesn't shirk the physical stuff either with Cody, and I always appreciate that with him. But competition lifts levels. And I've said this over and over and over again. Mo having no competition does nobody any good. Cody, at the minute, having no competition doesn't really do anybody any good. We need it. Because look at Dom. His game's gone to another level since Wirtz has come to the club because he feels I need to keep performing. So, bring in Isak and let them fight it out and let them work it out on the training ground and let them show who deserves the jersey. It will only benefit us as a club. Matt said Martinelli used to terrify the right back, not now. Yeah. I actually thought, Matt, that Martinelli would end up at Liverpool at one point because Jurgen really, really, really wanted them. Sorry, just reading out the Lewis Steele thing again. Again, just reaffirming that an agreement is close. DJ said, I know we're discussing transfers, but seeing Wirtz finally click in the second half hit like crack. I'm glad so many people seen that change in the second half, DJ, because I think it's tough. When you come in at 116 million, the expectation on you is through the roof. The pressure that comes with it is huge. And everybody outside of the Liverpool fan base wanted them to fail quickly because they wanted to say we overpaid, they wanted to control that narrative, and they wanted to make out like Liverpool were foolish. This Turkey comparison has always been laughable to me because they're not even on the same footballing planet. So, yes, Wirtz is getting there, but make no mistake, when Florian Wirtz gets to the pace of this league properly, gets to know his teammates, the movements, the body language, he is going to rip shit up and he is going to be incredible. Nevlin said something about Luke Edwards. I read it out, mate. I'll happily read it out for you again, though, because, it sounds good reading these things out. Newcastle will consider selling Alexander Isak without a replacement. But Luke, you told us it didn't matter if Newcastle signed 1 million strikers. Isak wasn't for sale. And if he was for sale, it's only for 150, Luke, right? Now, Liverpool can get him if Newcastle receive a bid of 130 million on deadline day. So we've already saved 20 million by not listening to Luke. And I think there's another 10 to be saved as well. What is your source saying about Isak tonight? So I don't need to hear anything new from the person that informed me, because what was told to me is reliant on it being timed. So I've always said to you guys, watch the timing, keep the timing. So for me at this point, everything I've heard was right. I told you I don't know some specifics on it, but I knew it was never going to get near 150. I don't know when this is going to go in, but I do know what the reason behind it was, which was to give Newcastle no time. I said this the other night, and then within 15 minutes, Craig Houlden tweeted it. It's about not giving Newcastle a chance to react. So let them dig their own hole, which they're doing by looking to bring in players and spending money. Know that they have a PSR requirement that maybe they can't spend money in this window, but moving forward in January, and to keep building Newcastle, they need to get back into the Champions League. They need that money coming in. They need the PSR wiggle room. And Liverpool have sat back, observed, watched as they overspent on Voltmada and done their business. Now we're sitting back, cash in hand, with leverage. And over the last day, brief to every Newcastle journalist, Newcastle Stance is softening, things are changing. And like I said, when we move, we'll move quickly, and it will be on our terms. So, Glasner said it's not possible to replace Guehi with 1 day left. He's told Steve Parish he wants to keep him and he has to stay for the direction of Crystal Palace. I can't deal. Look, Glasner would say that. I don't know a manager worth their salt who would say, oh yeah, get rid of him. But Glasner doesn't pay the bills. Parish pays the bills. And respectfully, they can't let Mark A walk out the door for free. They're not going to get relegated this year. You've seen enough of them from the start of the season to know the Palace aren't going to be in any type of worry like that. So it's either take 35 million or 40 million and build with it, or don't. But either way, Mark A is going to be a Liverpool player. For Parish and Palace, it's a matter of, is it now or is it in the summer? But it won't be in January. So let's see what happens tonight. Again, though, Glasner said this all the way through. Can't lose him, can't lose him. And if I was the manager, I'd be saying the same thing. You don't give a shit about the upper echelons of the clubs or their bank accounts. You want the best players to go out there on the pitch and play for you. I get it from Glasner. I totally do. But he doesn't pay the bills. Craig Bowen said, it's gone quiet about Elliot. Any news? All I know is, at this point, Liverpool expect him to stay. That's the only thing I've seen. I've never had anything inside on Harvey. I'm always the same as everybody else, just reading and seeing what's been said. Will said, do you ever miss Ox in the team? Not in the team, but I do miss him in the videos. Because Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was a really good-humoured, good lad. And sometimes there was that brief period really in the season where he did his ACL. He was phenomenal, taking over from Coutinho and helping us push on in that season until the Roma game. But yeah, look, it was the best for all parties at the time, and I don't regret moving him on it now. No, I don't think it was the wrong decision from us. Liam said, can also see we're used to a 10. Wirtz makes great runs past the strikers and doesn't often get played. Szoboszlai tried once and it was close. Thank you, Limo. Much love. Over to Canada. Right, let's dip back into the other chat as well. Give everybody a chance to get their thoughts and comments in. Does Mark Guehi go back to London? Well, we talked about that before, and I'll go back into it now. Surely there's no way he goes back to London, unless Parish and Glasner decide he isn't for sale. But right now, as I've mentioned, he's halfway between London. You know, I might as well bring this up because I am talking about it. This one. And I know there's other super chats I'll come back to, but we're talking about this, so I might as well bring it up. He's halfway between London and Liverpool right now. Maybe just over halfway in Birmingham. It would make no sense for him to go back. You'd surely think he'd have to go on up to start his medical if that was the case. Chase, I did miss your super chat, mate. I just haven't got to it yet. It's actually 1, 2... Yeah, I've about 10, 15 to work through. I did miss the Chase. I just haven't got worked up through yet, mate. Where am I at? I'm at Liam's. Yours is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yours is 10 away, believe it or not. That's how busy it is tonight, dude. But I promise you I'll get to it, and I do appreciate you. What's this? Oh, Chase, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I promise you I'll get there. I always appreciate when somebody spends their hard-earned money, dude. I never feel bad about giving me a nudge either. Right, let's keep working through them. Angus, how are you, my friend? So do you think if Isak stays at Newcastle, he will refuse to play for them? No. I don't see realistically how you can. Because if at that point you refuse, you are probably getting into some legal trouble at that point. And also, there is a World Cup, and I'm sure he's going to want to play, but he has to make the stance that, no, I don't want to leave, or I don't want to play, I won't play, I want to go. But ultimately, will he go a whole year without kicking a football, or 6 months? Very unlikely. But hopefully we don't find that out. Hopefully he ends up in a Liverpool shirt. Harry said, hey Craig, brilliant day. Are you getting nervous? I am. Weirdly, I'm getting more excited, Harry. I don't know, but I'm absolutely just excited at this point. So, Lewis Steele saying Liverpool are definitely active in this window. Can I get the finger out, please? Because my God, we're leaving this late. Like, late. Mark said David Raya blaming the new ball. Crappy excuse. But here's what you never hear. Yeah, fair play. Better team won. You know, we'll learn from it and move on. You're never going to hear that from Arsenal or their fans. Well, sorry, their online fans. Because we've had a couple of very decent Arsenal fans pop into us today. But that's why I've got no time for the bullshit from Arsenal fans. Because they don't give the credit where it's due. I said before the season started, again, if Arsenal win this, I'll be there to congratulate them. But what they don't seem willing to do is point the finger at Mikel Arteta where it belongs, because it's his shitty tactics and defensive nonsense and his anti-football tactics that leave them where they are. Why pay all that money for Eze? And then what? Don't give him the chance to flourish? That game today was tailor-made for Eze to try and find a moment of magic. But he stuck with his team and they created fuck all. 8 corners and we dealt with them all really well. Corbin said, did you see Raya's comments about the ball? I did, but, you know, he's just bantering himself at that point because that's going to be brought up over and over and over again. But, you know, just take it on the chin and say it was a great free kick and maybe I could have done better, because it's embarrassing for a keeper to be beaten from 35 yards, no matter how good the strike. Martin said maybe the Jota tragedy has affected Mo more than we realise. Perhaps the international break and being away from Liverpool for a bit helps him. So that is absolutely possible, Martin. Absolutely. But what you have to say on top of that is, if it was affecting him, right, and it was clear, he shouldn't be playing. So there is that. I understand it being used as a rationale for some of it, and I appreciate it. But that's where the manager has to be strong and go, right, well, this isn't the Mo we know. And that's okay. Because like you said, because they've been through a lot. So take him out of the fire line for a little bit and let him recuperate. if that's what's needed. But continue to play him and not taking him off. That I don't think is going to do anybody any good here. Honestly, I didn't come in, Marcus, with a time frame for this stream tonight. I'm just going to keep going until I run out of energy, probably. That's the honest answer, dude. Ingvar, how are you, sir? Said Arsenal play annoying football. They have a right to do it, but man, it's hard to watch. Arteta showed his true colours when he did the Klopp fist bump. You're not wrong, Ingar. You're not wrong. It's a horrendous brand of football. It's away from home in Europe. Give up nothing. See if you can pinch something. If not, we'll take a draw back to Ergat. That's what that was. But it wasn't in Europe. And he will still feel in his warped little Arteta mind that they are somehow still the best team. He has brought in... Look at the group of players he has. He's got a great squad. And he is ruining it with his shitty tactics. But Arsenal fans seem, outside of our good friend Lee, impervious to pointing the finger at him. I don't get it. They probably should have had a title or two at this point, but Arteta is too defensive-minded, and that's me being kind with the phrasing. Don't know why I was nervous. Lol. Also 130 for Isak. Oh, Stuart. I was really nervous going into this game today. And I said I'd take a draw all week. But very happy to be sitting here with a win. You know, it's brilliant to say, hey guys, we haven't really been at our best yet this season. But you know what? We're also still perfect. 3 wins from 3 with some difficult games out of the way. And Newcastle away at any point of the season... Take out the Isak stuff, doesn't matter. That has been a fixture, under the lights in particular, that is damn hard to leave with a win. And we did it. Arsenal, under any circumstances, is a difficult game. But we got the win. Wasn't pretty, but we did what they wanted to do, which is soak it up, stay tight. They were hoping for the set pieces, which they got plenty of. But this is why I'm so adamant we deserve to praise that defence today. Because it was a marked improvement and nothing. No big saves from Alisson needed. No towering headers, no hitting the post, nothing. Kept them quiet, shut them out, and did to them what they wanted to do to us, which was have one moment which sorted out the game. It's glorious. Chris said, might be conspiracy theorist in me, but I don't believe all these deals get done on deadline day. It's part of the TV money to go on a show. So I would be lying to you, dude, if I didn't think some of what you've said there plays into it. You know, it is... I agree. To some extent, like, I don't think they're done, but... there is theatre to all of this. There is. And I'm fascinated by the psychology of it all. Like, why is it so often when you've got, what, I don't know how many weeks are in this window, 12, 14, that we are here with less than a day to go and I could name 10 deals that are still up in the air across football? It's mad. There's no fucking rhyme or reason to it other than a pissing contest. It's fascinating. Chase, I told you I'd get there, buddy, eventually. And apologies, took so long. Today showed me we need Isak, Hugo. Unbelievable, but might not be ready for the big games. I thought today he didn't have much to work off, Gu&eacute, but it did show he has strength to work on. Because I thought the Arsenal defenders were very physical in how they dealt with him. And sometimes it was a free, sometimes he wasn't getting it, but they were physical. And that is the one thing today, that was one part of his game he hasn't developed enough yet physically to hold up, to be a target man, to link up play, but it will come. And I agree. I've never doubted we needed another forward because we just don't have the numbers. Now, I was open to this forward being a wide player or a versatile forward like a Rodrigo. But Isak will give us a bit of breathing room and will allow Ekitike to start to drift a bit more from the left, maybe find little pockets, link up play better. And then I can just see a magical little triangle of class between Wirtz, Ekitike, Isak. I'm so looking forward to seeing this in motion, with of course Mohamed Salah dropping in as well. Luke Edwards, Bomba, Craig, did you cover? I did, Nevlin. So here, Mark McAdam of Sky said, I think Isak will be at Liverpool. I think Mark Guehi will be at Liverpool. So everybody in the industry is convinced both these deals happen. So at what point did Liverpool put the offer in? Well, it's 10 o'clock now, and we're still waiting. Would you consider Rio on the right wing to rest Salah? Of course. I have this, not a bee in my bonnet, but we're almost obsessed with inverted wingers these days, Craig, because of the way football teams play. So nothing wrong with a right-footed player being on the right side at times. No, not at all. Most of our players can play in multiple positions, and Rio will be one of them. Yes, maybe Favour's coming in off the left, but of course he can do a job on the right. And you would hope that we get to, because it becomes less predictable for us as well if we do shift these across. Like, remember in the early days when we had Firmino, Salah, Mane and Lallana, some of the movement and changing of position and the rotation of those lads caused a lot of concern and space in opposing teams' halves. I want to see that again. Some fluidity to the attack. Because at times I think it's too rigid. And why have we never seen Salah given a go through the middle either? That's another one I'd like to see done once or twice, even if it's for 10 or 15 in a game. TOTT, 2KZ1, said, top of the league again, ole ole. Gonna be a great 2 weeks, much better showing today. Now let's go Isak, and let's get Isak and Guehi, WFM, love to you and the fam. Thank you, sir. Love right back to you. It is a glorious 2 weeks when you've won. There's no denying that. The international breaks are a hell of a pain in the arse if you've gone in a frustrating result. But winning, that makes everything a little bit better. John Joe, how are we? Sorry, Craig, just got in here. What's the news and updates? Hope you're having an amazing Sunday. Great win today. All my family are Arsenal fans, so I was super happy. Love it, John Joe, love it. I'm good. Just, I don't want to say I'm anxious, but I'm impatient is probably a fairer word. Because I want the moment. I want the, here we are, there's the offer, boom. And I don't know what point I should stop streaming tonight. I don't know if I should keep going. But what I do know is I'm still adamant that Isak's going to be a Liverpool player. And as in the updates, well, let me give you what we've had since we've gone live. So, we had, first of all, Dean Henderson nudging Mark Guehi towards Palace crowd to wave goodbye, but Guehi shut it down. Henderson seemed to hint he was waving goodbye to the Palace crowd. Then we had a comment from Mark Guehi where he said, I grew up in South London and this club means a lot. It has been an honour to captain this football club. Then we had Luke Edwards of The Telegraph saying, Newcastle will consider selling Isak without a replacement. Newcastle will give serious consideration to letting Isak sign for Liverpool if they receive a bid of 130 million on deadline day. I don't know why he's so fascinated with on deadline day and not now, but again, you can see that even Luke now is getting the old nudge to say, yeah, we're softening our stance on this one. Then we had Lewis Steele saying Liverpool getting closer to an agreement with Crystal Palace to sign their captain Mark Guehi. Told tonight that there was a good chance the deal is happening. Palace holding out for 35 plus 5 in add-ons. Liverpool are definitely active, 21 hours to go. Mark McAdam TV of Sky then said, I think Alexander Isak will be at Liverpool. I think Mark Guehi will be at Liverpool. So, loads of expectation, loads of optimism, but, you know, we know that the Palace bid is in and that's with Steve Parish. So we know we know what we're waiting for there. But the Isak one is an absolute battle of wills and nerves. And so far, you've got to say, our boys are holding theirs, but at what point they press the button? Your guess is as good as mine. Logan said, Guehi more important to me right now than Isak. Not for me, mate. No, I look at it from a numbers perspective, and numerically, we've got 4 centre backs, so that's okay. And we've got Nalo as a 5th one. Could we take Guehi as well and have another one? Yeah, brilliant. Absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. But I still think we're short in numbers in attack. We've got Salah, who so far hasn't looked like himself. We've got Ekitike, who the manager still thinks can't play 90 and is coming into the league. We have Gakpo, and then we have a Chiesa who was at match fit and still working his way up to 90 minutes, and a kid who's just signed his first professional contract or is going to sign his first professional contract. That's it. That's not enough depth for me over a season. So I think having got in Giovanni Leone, to me, Isak became the more needed signing at that point. Right, I want to go back in because I don't want people in the normal chat to feel like I'm just ignoring what they have to say as well. Where does Ekitike fit in if we sign Isak? Said Davy Man. Probably either a rotation, mate, through the middle, or maybe off the left. You know, when he did come in, both him and Arna spoke about him being a multifunctional, versatile forward. So I would say probably a combination of sometimes through the centre, maybe sometimes on the left. Rest tonight and live stream another day. Yeah, let's rest. Well, there's 7,000 people in the chat. Yeah, that's great. This is why I'm running the channel, mate. Because, you know, you work when the work is there. This is an industry that's very much peaks and troughs. And I know the next 2 weeks in particular for me are going to be very, very quiet. So these ones, this is heaven for me, mate. I'm like a pig in shit at the minute. So I know you didn't mean that bad by what you said, but nah, man, no need to rest. This is what I live for. So yeah, I'm good. If I need to start learning sign language to communicate with you, we'll have a go at that. But yeah, no, we're staying on. Oh no, he didn't mean to be rude. No, he didn't at all mean to be rude. And I'm not trying to be rude back to him, but no time for resting, dude. Plenty of time to rest when the transfer window shuts. Gaza said, I feel as if Isak were to come in, it would be untouchable in the sense of I don't think Arna would sub him off, unlike Mo. Don't know, but I would say if Isak comes in or when Isak comes in, I still don't think he'll be ready to start till after the next international break. So I think it'll be a month of stop-start minutes, getting him fit and working his way back because he's had no pre-season. Staying up until signings happen. You're the only big streamer we like. We love that. Thank you. Yeah, but look, I'm too full of adrenaline. You know what? I still have to figure out how I can squeeze a dinner into today. And look at me. You know, I will find a way. But yeah, right now I'm just buzzing. Craig, ring someone, see does the fee go in tonight? I won't know when the fee goes in. I will never get that knowledge. That's something the club won't tell anybody until it goes in. What's this one? Oh, Tyler Morton having another great game, apparently, which is good to see. Aaron said Gyökeres was ghost. What a waste of money. So I said this loads of times that there was a reason Liverpool didn't go for Victor Gyökeres, and people were still getting blinded by his numbers at Sporting Lisbon, even though Darwin, maybe not over a same prolonged period, but it's a big, big difference between doing it in Portugal in that league and doing it in the Premier League against your Virgil van Dijks of this world. And Arsenal have got in a good centre forward, but not an elite centre forward in my mind. But that's just my opinion. Right, so we've nearly got 5,500 votes. We asked, who do we sign? Nobody, Isak and Guehi, Isak only, or Guehi only. And so far, we'll call it a vote now. 70% are still very optimistic and going for Guehi and Isak. And thank you again to everyone that voted. The End said, football will always need James Milner. I hope he goes into management or punditry. The game needs his class. Agree, sir. Agree. Yeah, I agree. 100%. Football's a better place with Jimmy Milner in at the end. You're absolutely spot on. Fortune said Morgan from Aston Villa. So the Morgan Rogers thing, Fortune Masango, that was one that kind of stopped me in my tracks when I'd seen it. I think it was Football Insider that said it. But I never understood why they would even contemplate selling him. Like, they've moved on Jacob Ramsey. And Morgan Rogers just won the PFA Young Player of the Year. And Villa are all over the shop at the minute. I don't know what's going on with them, but they look a pale imitation of themselves. So I think their fans would go insane if he was to be sold. I love the link, by the way. You know, if Elliot were to go looking at him, I mean, nothing wrong with looking at that caliber of player. But yeah, I was never, ever, ever, ever thinking it was going to be done. So, Romano has said, internal talks now underway at Palace to decide Mark Guehi as Liverpool are pushing. Liverpool are ready to get the deal done. Fee over 35 million plus 10% sell-on clause as personal terms are agreed, he said, since the beginning of August. Yep, we've read that one out. Cool. Keep moving. Romano has been the master of saying fucking nothing, by the way, in this window. I don't know about everybody else, but for me, this window for Romano has seen his ranking drop a bit. For me, just for me. I think he's gone too early on some stuff. He is piggybacked on other stuff. So, yeah. I guess, you know, he's still obviously a very connected guy, but this window feels a bit messier from him. And yesterday, he promised a big update all day and then gave nothing that night because he's waiting, because he doesn't know. And anybody who tells you they know is full of it until the bid goes in. Because I know we are going to bid. I know we're confident we will get it done. But nobody at this minute knows the timing of it. And it feels like loads of people are trying to spoof their way to getting it right. Right, keep going. Where was I? On the super chats. Chads I've done. Whitehammers I've done. Martins, Ingvar. Done that one. Done Chris's, done Chase's, done Nevlin's, done Wayne's, done John Joe's, done Logan's. Big man. There we go. Big man, how are you, sir? Craig, long-term viewer, but I haven't been here in a while due to school, among other things. I'm not sure you remember me. I do. I absolutely remember your account name and that profile picture, mate. But I'm glad to be back celebrating with yourself and the community. Well, we're glad to have you back, my friend, and I hope school and everything else was going well for you. Never, ever, ever feel the need to apologise to me, folks, if you're away or busy on something. You know, we don't have any expectations of you guys, and we appreciate any time you do give to the channel and watching and commenting and stuff. So never feel you need to apologise. If any apologising needs to be done, it's usually from me. Yes, 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 Max, yes. And not just them, dude. The disrespect that Liverpool got going into this game was on another level. Depending on what you read or what country you're in or who you follow, so many in the journalistic football landscape, and I'm more on the television front, to be honest, felt like if anybody was winning this game, it was Arsenal. And there seems to be, and I maybe imagine this, an almost determination to get Arsenal to a league title, to justify something with a lot of the TV companies. And I don't get it. Neville has been up Arteta's backside for God knows how long. I've never understood it. Because what football should be doing is calling out Arteta for his terrorism, his football nonsense, his anti-football. Because it's dull, it's lifeless, it's cowardly. And you don't win shit with that. You might not lose, but you don't win shit. You don't create dynasties. You don't create an identity. What is your identity? Defend? Have 6 big lads in there? Try to pin something from a set piece? That's not an identity. That's Tony Pulis at Stoke. This is supposed to be one of the greatest footballing minds in the game. Who's had, you know, a career at the high level. Who's learned from Guardiola. And that's it? That's what he does? Again and again? When he comes away from home against a big opponent? Nah, nonsense. I don't get it. And I don't get how he has so much good graces with Arsenal fans, because he wouldn't have lasted at any other club this long. 5.5 years. Won the trophy with Emery's team in his first season, and done what since then? Qualified for the Champions League, finished second. So what? Not good enough. Spent over £1 billion. Win something or shut the fuck up. But all he does is smile when things are going well and whinge like a girl when things are going poor. Simple. That's Arteta. And somehow he's a media darling. The rules don't seem to have to apply to him either, as he spends less time in his tactical area as he does outside it, but, nothing wrong there. If we get Guehi, how does Slot deal with 5 top centre-backs? By knocking one out. In excitement, is what I'd be saying, Adam. I guess it's hard to answer the question at the minute, not knowing a couple of things. What happens with Leone? Because it's a big leap of faith for me to accept that Leone is a senior or a first-team centre-back straight away. I'm not saying he hasn't got the quality to do it, but it's a big leap of faith to think that he's going to be trusted in a game like today, as a matter of fact. So that'll take time before he really establishes himself. The Joe Gomez thing, that's an interesting one. And also, we still don't know Canade's future. But I do know that the opportunity to rotate between Canade, Guehi, Van Dijk, Gomez, and maybe Leone will give Arne the ability to keep these guys as fresh as they can be. Because Virgil last year, he was almost a one-man defensive machine who played every single game pretty much. And we need to protect these guys and keep them at their peak. And to keep them at their peak, yes, they need rhythm. Of course they do. But they also need a breather every now and again. And it's a very busy year again. Thankfully, we weren't at that Club World Cup. But some of these players from the likes of Chelsea, City or whatever, they've had very little break. They're into another season. Some are going off to an AFCON, coming back in, finishing a season, going off to a World Cup. So it's about keeping these guys fresh and preventing injuries. Very hard to measure the injuries you don't get, but we've been quite good at that. So, Dave O.C. Kopp has said, exclusive, Liverpool are closing in on Isak after positive talks on Sunday. There's been positive talks in the past few hours. Expect an agreement announcement tomorrow. So, let's wait and see on that one. It feels like they're still waiting for Newcastle to try get that extra forward through the door, or an agreement, so they can put more pressure on, knowing that they have committed themselves more financially. But it's a dangerous game at this point. It's very, very late in the day. We've done that. Does Mark G go back to London tonight or go? Like we said, he's halfway up there now. So I think it'll depend on what Steve Parish says. If Steve Parish gives the blessing for this to be done, then the common sense thing is he goes straight up to Liverpool. This is true as well, Crispy Dippers, excuse me. How won't want having Isak as the main topic? You're right, because it's tiring and jarring. Like, I'm sure Eddie Howe is dying for this window to close. I'm sure he is sick of these questions. I don't blame him. And Eddie Howe's a class act. Good football man. I think he's been decent all the way through this. But it must be tough for him. Must be. But I do think you're right. If he stayed there for another 6 months, it's going to be every week. More questions, more press conferences, more newspaper articles, a bigger cloud over Newcastle. And, Jamie Carragher said something today that was something along the lines of, the Isak situation has caused or added to Newcastle's iffy start, which is, I think, 2 points from 3 games. And they're a really good squad and a really good team. And there's no doubt in my mind whatsoever that Carragher's right, that this situation with Isak has added to the what's the word I'm looking for? Distraction in the Newcastle squad. So Lewis Steele said there is an expectation from all parties that Mark Guehi joins Liverpool. So we're inching there, bit by bit, post by post, update by update. The optimism is growing. The likelihood of it happening is... But we still don't know, right? So let's keep waiting. I'm going to stay on a bit longer if everybody wants me to. Well, a good bit longer. I think I can probably do an hour and a bit more if people want to stick with me, just in case these things do happen. I'll probably be divorced by the end of it. Love you, Sabrina! But worth it. So yeah, let's keep going. We'll see if we have another hour in us. Keep your comments coming in. You guys keep commenting and watching, and I'll stay. I need to get a drink though. And by the way, I love the vibe in the chat tonight. This is my audience. These are our people. I love it. Another poll. What one would you like? You let me know and I will do it. Oh, I need to just move myself. Sorry. It's very warm under these lights, by the way. So, can we get to 348,000 subscribers? Let's try that as a little goal as well. We've got 85 to go. Can I just say thank you again, by the way? Because I know there's been some moments in this transfer window where we've all been tetchy. And we've had some people come in that have been intent on causing discontent. But I appreciate you guys so much. And this has been an incredible 3 months for our channel because of you. And that's why we're continuing to try work so hard, because you guys are more than we could have wished for. And your support is phenomenal. So thank you all. But let's keep going. Right. Where was I? Keith said, Arteta listing all their injuries again tonight. Broken record. Are there any other clubs that have the money for Guehi or Isak the next day? No. Guehi, yes, of course, people could afford that, but he's intent on us. And here's the thing, Keith, about Arteta and those injuries. Be nice, Craig. What this man seems to forget is why these players are getting injured. Why is Saka constantly having hamstring injuries? Could it be that you're rushing him back a lot of the time? Overplaying him a lot of the time? This is what I said about Arne Slot and our freshness of our squad and our rotation and Ruben Peters and all the work they do. It's very difficult to measure an injury you don't get. But Arteta is seeing the other side of this. He's seeing what happens when you overplay. So Lee Gunner said to me that Saliba was injured during the warm-up, but Arteta still put him out there to play. Why? Make that change. Look, I can't lie. I just don't like Arteta as a guy. He rubs me up the wrong way. I can't listen to his voice. It does my head in. And everything about him just seems fake and false to me. He's a real happy chappy. He's a fair weather person. When things are great, he's all smiles and jokes and limelight. But when things start going bad, you never, ever, 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 ever hear him say anything other than they were hard done by. The ref fucked us over. The pitch, the ball, the fans, everything. No, we weren't the better team. We lost to a better team. This deluded clown still thinks they were the best team in the Champions League last year. But the fact of the matter is, they had the worst result against PSG than any of the teams that played them from England. But this clown still thinks they were the best team in Europe. He is so fucking deluded, it's beyond comprehension. But, you know, he's an Arsenal manager, so let them worry about him. Arteta was digging today. Unlucky, he hit a bedrock. He came and he thought he was going to be clever. He came and he thought he was going to stifle us and hit us with a set piece and get a win. But he didn't come to play expansive football, to trust the players and the talent that he has there and back them to find a way to beat us. Nope. Negative, negative, negative. That's all he has. Negative football. Declan Kavanagh said, I hate listening to Gary Neville. I hate listening to Gary Neville when Liverpool, Arsenal or United are involved. Outside of that, I don't mind Neville. But he's blinded about United, understandably, but he's deluded. How on earth has he predicted them to get in the Champions League spots? Every year this shit happens. They do the predictions on Monday Night Football and he's full of it. Yeah, they're going to be Champions League. No, they're not, Gary. No, they're not. Oh, yeah, who's going to have the biggest impact of any signing? Solanke. How did that go? Was he the best player? I don't get it. Right, let's keep working through. This one. Someone tell Mark A it's the M5 North he wants. Thank you for that one, Craig. Clayton's Purple said, hope they hurry up and do the signings as my husband is very fidgety. The next transfer window, I'm going to sedate him. Could you do me a favour though? Could you add me to the sedation list as well, please and thank you? I understand exactly what your hubby's going through. My missus is the same. She's like, oh, can we do? No, we can't move, Sabrina. Can't leave the house. Have to be within striking distance of the computer and the television. And why does Sky Sports have to be on in every room in the house? Because it does, love. It's just the law. But yeah, I get it. I feel your pain. But it's nearly over. It's nearly over the window. Drew Morgs, thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Said, been watching you for years. Recently moved to Miami and I rely on the updates from you now more than ever. Thanks for everything you do. Well, I'm very jealous that you're living over in Miami, Florida, mate. It was always my dream to live in America. Yeah, I love it. I've been to Florida 6 times. Now it's much more difficult for me to go over because of a long story with a visa. But yeah, thank you. I'm so humbled to be part of your routine with Liverpool. Thank you. Ivan News, Guehi is inches away from being done. So's the wife. About 4. How do you see us lining up with Isak, Wirtz and Ekitike like a motherfucking set of bosses? I don't know. It's hard to really gauge what way it's going to happen with the centre-backs because they're all really good. If that Canade keeps playing like that, it's going to be tough for anybody to displace him. That's the Canade that we've all seen and loved. But on the attack front, I think we could do with it. We could do with a mix-up. Like, what Isak will give to us when he comes in is the unknown. People look at us now and think, right, Gakpo left, Salah right, Ekitike centre. But Isak will shake that up and give us a little bit of the unknown, which is never a bad thing. How many times do we see a player, let's say, come in, have that really good first season because nobody's figured them out, and then maybe they get figured out and they know how to mark them a little bit differently. I think it's probably going to be something similar to that. Tice Mahoney said, like in boxing, to be a champ, you have to know or knock out the champ. Yes, as Ric Flair said, to be the man, you've got to beat the man. Arsenal tried to outpoint us and instead took a shot to the jaw and lost the fight. Yep, they were TKO'd. And they didn't come to rip the belt away, did they? They tried to let it go to the judges and that didn't work out well. So Guehi to Liverpool, yes or no? Okay, if that's the poll you want, I will happily put it up. Right, there you go. Guehi to join, yes or no? Right, let's keep going. News now that Newcastle will accept a £130 million bid for Isak at 24 degrees. Yep, it was Luke Edwards said that, but I don't think we're going to offer 130 for what it's worth. I think 120 is the number that might go in, but whatever gets it done at this point. I'm Adam Ant, that we stood and delivered. I get that, Didinho. Finally, one of the jokes, mate, has landed with me. Stand and deliver. I get it. I'm old enough to remember Adam Ant, mate. Can't wait for my 50th birthday lunch with Gunnar Big Bro, said Jurgen Splurgen. There you go. Happy 50th. That's class. Is Dave O'Seacop reliable? As he said, deal is done on Insta. So I don't know much about him, to be honest with you. And look, I said that's probably unfair. I don't know him personally to know much about reliability or not. I don't know his sources. I don't know where he gets his info from. So it would be unfair of me to say about any reliability or not. Yeah, I think that's the fairest I can be. I can also say I don't like him because he was an arrogant arsehole to me once when we asked him, did he want to come on for a video? When we got some arrogant, condescending, noncy post back that pissed me off to this day. But like I said, I don't really move in the same circles as him, so it would be unfair of me to say whether he's reliable or not because I don't know. Reading between the lines, we're going to do a take it or leave it close to 120 million for Isak. Yes, I think that's fair to say that. It will be a one option. Here you go. This is our number. You've backed yourself into a corner. Thank you very much. Let's move. So yeah, I think what you've said there is not far off at all, mate. Craig, I'm more confident with Guehi than Isak. I can understand why, in all honesty, but I'm weirdly the other way. I'm more confident on Isak because Newcastle's desperation is really growing there. But what I am confident on is when the hell we're going to put this bid in. Again, talk of tomorrow, and geez, that's leaving it late for medicals and a lot of stuff to get done. Ems said, we were so lucky Gyökeres didn't play. I like what you've done there. Just saying hi from the biggest football channel on YouTube. Oh, the bestest. Sorry, bestest. I read that wrong, mate. Sorry. From the bestest football channel on YouTube. That's okay. Nothing wrong with a bit of self-promotion. Cash Talks Football, excuse me. Nothing wrong with a bit of self-promotion. Wishing you the best with the channel. Huge victory today. I hate Arsenal. Love the lads beating them for the first time at home in 6 games. Yep, I'm delighted as well, mate, because I was very, very, very nervous going into it. I love Joe Gomez, said Sonder. He was really good when he came on. He really was. Like, he got stuck in straight away. Next window, we want you to stream outside the AXA, please. I'd love to. God, I'd love to. I keep saying, imagine I got to interview Arna. That'd break the internet. And it would be fun. It wouldn't be the usual copy and paste bullshit nonsense interview. Stay on for 21 more hours. Here's something for coffee. I don't think I can quite make it that long. We've still got 55 minutes in us though, so loads of time. So people, every time I glance to the screen, I hear Bomba. Cool. Well then, hopefully Mark and Connor will send it on to me because I don't. I know people really don't believe me when I say this, but I don't have X or Twitter on my phone or on my computer. I don't. I see it in Discord or it gets sent to me. That's the only time I see anything because I don't use social media. Andres says, what is your wildcard transfer if not Isak and Guehi? You mean for us? I don't think there is one, in all honesty. In the window, somebody should move for Elliot. Palace should have a look at him. Newcastle should. I still don't understand how Newcastle haven't asked us about Elliot. I feel like he'd fit in really well there as well. Craig, do you know why TalkSport are so anti-Liverpool? Proud to say I don't listen to anything. I don't listen to TalkSport. I can't stand Simon Jordan. I find him very condescending. And I think when I watch their content on occasion or the few bits I've seen, they seem to play to the lowest common denominator and try to provoke outrage to get the funny calls in and stuff. It's very clickbaity in the media realm. I call it lowest common denominator, Jeremy Kyle style content. I don't like it whatsoever, and it's not sincere. You know, you get people on angry, and that's what they want. They want the nut job comments. They want the stupid shit. They want those moments. They try to manufacture viral moments. Doesn't feel sincere to me, so I've never paid any attention to it. So I don't know if they're anti-Liverpool or not. Seth Addo said Frimpong will probably play as a Salah backup now. Well, something needs to be done on the right to give us an option. Torben said no one is coming. Yeah, well, Torben, why are you here then? See ya. Keep your defeatist nonsense, mate, and take it elsewhere. Because nobody is coming is definitely not the narrative that's out there in the media at the minute. So I'll let you take your negativity somewhere else. Because it's not needed this evening. And it's also coming from a place of ignorance. DJ said, Gakpo new contract is great. We've got McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch, who will only have 2 years left this season. Incredibly important we sort it. Honestly, don't know, DJ, the ins and outs of all the contract situations. Robbo obviously is up at the end of the year. Kanata is up at the end of the year. Yeah. Why do trolls go into the chat when your BS going to be proved wrong anyway? You want your 3 seconds of attention before you get banned. I know, it's so pointless. They should do something that makes them happy. Maybe that does make them happy, but I don't know. It's a weird existence. Yeah, so great news on Gakpo, like you've said, DJ, but certainly you don't want Maka or any of those giving any encouragement to any other teams. Definitely a fair point, mate. Kenny. Where's Kenny's? Curtis Jones came on and it turned the game around. Thank you for saying that, mate. Because I thought he did really well when he came on as well. But as usual, the comments in there were from the usual Curtis Jones haters. It doesn't matter what he does. You know, I'll call him out if he plays poorly, but today was not one of those days. Okay, so that's just Dave guessing again. Clay said, Szoboszlai, what a beauty, future captain after VVD. Well, Robbo's the vice captain. I'm sure people know that. Just in case you did miss it, that was confirmed by Arne Slot the other day. Andy Robertson is the club's. He calls it second captain. Joe. Thank you. Craig, I love you so much. So glad to be in this community. Right back to you, my friend. Thank you, Joe. So I'm flying through these as quick as I can because I know there's 2 huge super chats that I haven't gotten to yet that I want to obviously take a bit of time to say thank you about. So I'm flying through these as quick as I can. But thank you again, Joe. That's really kind. Paul McGrath said, Craig, what's to stop Newcastle pretending to go along with the transfer but personally delaying the papers so they keep Isak? So how do you think, Paul, just playing this out like you've said, how do you think that will land with Isak and his agent? How do you think that will reverberate around the club? And also, one other thing that they have to be mindful of, Paul, is PSR. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to fall foul of it, but it's certainly a concern for them, particularly with the money they've already spent in this window. They haven't recouped a whole lot that I'm aware of. So for them to push the club forward, they need to have the manoeuvrability and wiggle room to be active in the market. So they sort of backed themselves and painted themselves into a corner somewhat on this one. And Liverpool knew that, which is why we just wait and wait and then act. Would you eat some broccoli for Isak to come? See, my brain read that very differently, mate. And read the intent of the post very differently. My brain kind of said, if I eat broccoli, that would cause him to... would I eat broccoli to get Isak? I think I could do that, yeah. If that was the difference between us getting Isak and not getting him, then yes. Right, we're only 40 away now from 348,000. So if you can, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And don't forget to sign up to our WhatsApp as well, which is where we always put in the links to post your player ratings and our post-match stuff. Right, let's keep going. Opinions on Barcelona's defensive issues look poor. Billy, honestly, as much as you know I like Barcelona, I haven't had a chance to keep up much with their business or their issues. It's been flat out for us here for the last couple of months, and yeah, I've looked forward to the international break to catch up on a lot of stuff, mate, get a breather and really check in on Barca as well, because I haven't had a chance to keep up with what's going on in Barcelona land at all. Colin, enjoy your company, Craig, each evening. Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you. I always think your image reminds me of Sam Smith when I see your face coming up, Colin. That's meant as a compliment, by the way. But yeah, thank you, mate. Appreciate you as well. Randall said, Craig, Liverpool don't only leave it late winning in games, they also leave it late in transfers. I mean, yeah, Randall, there's late, dude, and there's late. Like this is really, really late. Just keep singing Poor Kitty and the Missus Will Love You Forever. I actually was quite proud, our Agent 47, of my Ball Pep, Fraud Pep, City are so shit. I was proud of that one. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep singing that Kitty song, because it really does wind the missus up, and it gets stuck in people's head as well. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Another hour with Craig, yes please. Let's go, Stuart. Thank you. Footy Banter said, Milos Kerkez showed today why he is a special player. Please give us details for the meet and greet at the Comedy Club in Liverpool. The details, simple. 1 second. Footy Banter. So yeah, look, this is going to be our last ever live show, stage show. And the reason is because of my stage fright. No other reason. So if you would like to come and see us for the very last time on stage, we're going to be at the Hot Water Comedy Club Liverpool on the 19th of October, which is the weekend of the Manchester United game after the October international break. All the ticket revenue that we receive from our side is going to be going towards Joe's wheelchair basketball chair. We're going to put it all in the kitty for that. And tickets are priced at just £15. It is an all ages event, open to everybody, and I hope you can come along, because it'll be myself, it'll be Steve, it'll be Chris, we'll have a musical act, Brian will be there from Boston and his brother as well, and it's the last one I'm doing, so hope to see you guys there. And last time I checked, half the tickets were gone, so about half left, or a bit less than half left, if you'd like to come and see us. Brian Guthrie, took me a while to get to it, Brian, but thank you. That is so kind of you, sir. You're appreciated, Craig. Thanks for the effort, the transfer period. Try and relax over the break. I really need a break over these next few weeks. I'm mentally exhausted. I haven't been sleeping because I can't switch off, and I'm going to the boxing with my missus on Friday night. We're going out for dinner with our in-laws and our son on Saturday night, and yeah, I'm definitely taking a few days in a row off, because I have to force myself to do it, Brian, but I appreciate that, mate. That's so kind of you. You don't have to send me anything, but you're so generous, and I appreciate it, as is another gentleman called Brian, who we'll get to in 1 sec. But thank you again, Brian Guthrie. Really kind of you, mate. What have I missed with transfers? Us inching bit by bit closer, Jack, but still positive, still looking really optimistic, and I have a few things that have just come into me here. So that one we've done. So there's an expectation from all parties that Mark Guehi joins Liverpool. Oh, DiMarzio has just put in something really big. AC Milan expect to close a deal for Joe Gomez from DiMarzio, who's very well connected. That is big news. Breaking Craig is a legend from Kevin Meyer. Thank you, bro. Appreciate you. John Oedinger, thank you for gifting 10 memberships there as well, John. Just seeing those drop in. Absolute legend. So look, let me say this about Joe Gomez. And on this one as well. I am Dominic Soboslai. Well, if you are, which you're not, but if you were, we'd all be telling you we love you, bro. Because what a free kick today. Daddy Dom Daycare, absolute legend. So on Joe, before we get to Brian's super chat, whatever Joe Gomez does, whatever happens, I just admire the guy tremendously. He's been a model professional, absolute model professional. 10 years at the club, an incredible servant, very versatile, always professional. Yes, he's had some horrible injuries, but he keeps bouncing back. He has tremendous mental strength. And if he does depart Liverpool Football Club, I will say wholeheartedly, he'll go with my absolute best wishes and thanks for an incredible time at the club. Without a doubt. You know, he came to us, I think, 18 years of age from Charlton. And he will leave, certainly a man, but also an absolute bona fide, important part of our success. So let's see what happens on it. But if he does go, it'll be a big loss to us, but AC Milan will be getting themselves a very, very good player. Brian, my man, thank you. You're very much appreciated. Can't wait for October. Same, my man, same. So we've got a free day on the Saturday, Brian, in Liverpool. We'll find something fun to do there. Then we've got the match on the Sunday against United, and then straight to the hot water for the show. I'm buzzing. Can't wait to see yourself, Vern, Laurie, and again, spend a weekend together. Gonna be fun. And thank you for all of your help over the years and support on and off camera, Brian. Appreciate you as a friend. Hate Burgess said, "Hey Craig, been watching for just over 5 years now. Love this community. Do you see any academy boys in the first team in the next 5-ish years?" So this is my Achilles heel. This is the one thing I always admit that I don't have enough information on. I don't have the time to keep up with the academy as much as I would like to. Jack Gill used to bail me out a lot with that. Jack was brilliant. And Chris Donners is very good as well at looking at academy prospects. You know, we're just a 2.5, 3-person team at Anfield Agenda. My wife's now on board. My wife now works with the company, which is brilliant. But, you know, it's me and Connor, pretty much. We try to do everything together. I'm a real believer in a small, close-knit group for anything. Friendship, work, anything, because I think I'm an intense individual and it takes a really dedicated person to put up with me, because I drive a hard bargain in work. I push and push and push, and I don't let them rest, and I don't let them get a minute's peace, you know, because it's a demanding industry, and to get to the top and to stay there, you got to work your ass off. So I'm tough taskmaster, and I appreciate everyone pulling together on these things, because it's a labour of love, without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, on the academy, don't know, mate. I'm ashamed to say I don't know enough about the academy prospects coming through. Top of the league to you, Craig, and channel. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate you. Carl, always lovely dude. So grateful for that win today as well, Carl. What else we got? LFC DG, thank you, mate. Wirtz was so involved in the second half, even with 3 DMs. He got better as the game went on. Oh, Ornstein, what's this? Oh, here we go. So, David Ornstein just posted to say, talks ramping up tonight over a deal for Isak to join Liverpool from Newcastle. Liverpool saw a £110 million bid rejected earlier this summer, having previously indicated a willingness to pay 120, now at a crunch point. So, again, just to confirm for people coming in, talks ramping up tonight over a deal for Isak to join Liverpool from Newcastle on deadline day. Liverpool seen a £110 million bid rejected earlier in the summer, having previously indicated a willingness to pay 120, now at a crunch point. So let's see what happens over these next few hours. I'll be here till 11:30 if you want to stick with me. Connor will be around in the morning to take you through anything if it happens. Let's keep going. Oh, this is the most Irishy thing ever. I love it. Craig, you're deadly. Keep it up. You'll never walk alone up the Dubs. That is a beautifully Irish sentiment, Probellum child. All it missing is you're bleeding massive. But appreciate you, bro. Thank you. And up the Dubs as well. Yeah, absolutely. No matter, I've been outside Dublin now for probably 20 years, but I'll always think of myself as a Dub. No, a Southside Dub. Sonder said, I think we go 4-2-2-2. Isak, Ekitike and Salah as the 3 forward options. Gakpo, Soboslai, Wirtz, Jones, Maka, Grav as either the 2 behind the 2 deep. So I guess the only downside to that 2-2-2-2 that you've spoken about is a lack of width. So you're almost adamant that your fullbacks then are going to provide that width. So it will be interesting to see. Kirkes today gave us all a glimpse of why we signed him and that he is settling in. But I think you're probably right, Sonder, with the formation in the 4-2-2-2. I do feel that is naturally a way that this could fit for us. But the width has to come from the fullbacks then. And again, it's going to require a lot from our two holding midfield players to provide that cover when they do bomb forward. But again, very good post, mate. Thank you. Chelsea have also recalled Mark Guehi from Sunderland. Desperation now. So Chelsea, here's what I don't get about Chelsea. How they're still able to attract all these players. Because how many of them have come in, signed 6, 7, 8-year deals, and are moved on in a year, ruthlessly, or in 2 years. And I don't see big hoopla in the media about players being utilised and thrown under the bus. But when Isak puts down tools, he seems to be the only one held to account for it. So it's an interesting one with Chelsea, and they've now churned over, 53 players in the last few years, incomings. It's nuts. They've had a very good window financially. They've brought in £315 million, and I think they've spent somewhere close to that as well. LFC DG, if I could only sign one Guehi or Isak, at this point it would be Isak, because for me it's a numbers game. We have enough centre backs, and could we do with a fifth? Yes, but we have 4. And for me, we just don't have enough forwards, especially when you think one of the 5 forward options we currently possess is a 17-year-old kid, and another one is a Chiesa working his way back to match fitness. Pray, love you, channel, you rock. Thank you. I don't pray. I'm not a religious person, but I do respect those that are. Shout out from Gilbert, Arizona, where it's 41 degrees Celsius. Oh my days. Love the channel. I hope you know you're reaching people around the globe. God bless. It's the thing about this, Lewis, that most humbles me. To think that you're a part of someone's routine, even for a few minutes every day, mate. And I love that we're able to connect with people all around the globe. It just, this football club brings us all together, whether you're from Arizona like yourself, Australia, New Zealand, Ireland, England, Sweden, Netherlands, doesn't matter. It connects us all through our love of the football club, and it's brought me closer to some really good people that have restored my faith in human nature, because I've bet a lot of crap over the years, and it's all been worth it to get to the point where I've got you guys and we've got this community. It's a very special place for me, which is why I'm so protective of it. Right, Romano has said AC Milan are confident to agree term with Liverpool for Joe Gomez as soon as Liverpool get a done deal for Mark Guehi, if Palace approve it, which everybody still feels like we're waiting for Steve Parish to give the nod. Where was I at? Tyler said, well, Craig, absolute legend, love the content. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that. I'm so looking forward to going to the boxing next Friday as well. This will be the first time I've actually seen Mick Conlan fight live, so really looking forward to that. We've got ringside seats for that one. Buzzing for next Friday night to see that. Myself and the missus, we only ever usually go to boxing events or comedy shows. And thank you, Tyler. You're very kind, mate. Finty, keep watching the Soboslai free kick. Utter filth. Oh, mate, I have Match of the Day recorded, and I'm going to be rewinding and watching it and rewinding and watching it, and then I'll go on to Sky Sports and I'll look at it in the horizontal view. I'll look at it in every which way, because it's worth looking at over and over again. Crosswell's Mercantile said, I'm in Canada, so add that to your list. Oh, shout out Naturalist. I hope you're watching. So she sent me 5 or 6 boxes of my favourite biscuits in the world, which are from Canada, which are the Dare, D-A-R-E, maple cookies. I cannot believe that very, very kind-hearted person sent them all the way to me from Canada, and they are still sitting there waiting to be destroyed. My son's already eaten a box of them, But thank you if you are watching Naturalist so much. And I have your Premier League goal patch, and your scarf will be here with me in the next day or two, and I will be posting them over to Canada to you as promised. Brandon, next window you go live outside the AXA would be great. I'd love that. So Carl, I don't know what's happened in Discord, because as you can see, I haven't been in there today, so I'm going to have to play catch up on that one. But I will be back in touch on it. I just don't know what's happened or not happened. So bear with me on that one. Mike said TalkSport is owned by The Rag. Is it still owned by them? I wasn't sure, to be honest. I think... Is it not part of the whole Sky setup? Because a lot of the presenters seem to do double roles between TalkSport and Sky. I don't know. Hey Craig, do you think we'd go for a winger in January if we fail to sign Isak? So, for what it's worth, I don't think we will fail to sign Isak. And I think if we did fail to sign Isak for whatever reason, January we'd revisit that same thing. So, I don't think so. Again, they're very adamant. How do I pronounce this? The Irreclusions. They're very adamant not to block the pathway for Rio and Gamoa, which is why they did look at the likes of a Bradley Barcola or whatever. So, Isak to join, or excuse me, Guehi to join, we asked. 90% of you guys said yes. We love that. Right, let's keep working. Luke Conway, thank you, mate. Joseph Purvis said Arsenal are an embarrassment, especially the fans. So, what's this? So, Carl, apparently you haven't been banned, you've been timed out, is what I've been told here from Mark. Said he's not being banned, been timed out, saying he was being ignored and disrespected, moaning, and yeah. So, Carl, as you can see, there is a reason for it. Like I said, I'm playing catch up, and again, just to reiterate on this, you weren't banned, you were timed out, and I didn't do it. So, I can't answer when I wasn't in there, can I really? Anyway, let's keep going. So, Fab tweet. Fab's new post. Right. I'm sure this will be sent on to me in a second by Connor or Mark. But on the Arsenal thing, Joseph, sorry to get back to this, mate. Look, like any football club, there are some fans who are cool, some fans that aren't, but delusion is the word that I keep coming back to. And a real lack of sporting integrity from a lot of fans of Arsenal who won't just admit their own misgivings. There always has to be a reason why they've shit the bed. So, Romano said, breaking, Liverpool are pushing now to sign both Alexander Isak and Mark Guehi before Monday's deadline. Negotiations proceed, waiting for the next step from Newcastle and Palace on fee and replacements. Lassa, thank you. PSG are again contenders for the Champions League. Oh, you'd have to say yes, Rob. I don't think they... Well, was it fair to say they surprised a lot of people last year? Or was it my own ignorance? Because they were better than I was expecting. But I don't think... Last year it felt like their destiny. It felt early on when they got through us that they something clicked and they believed that they could do it. But Chelsea put it up to them in the Club World Cup and really, I think, showed a blueprint of what to do to beat them. We weren't able to match the levels that we would have usually done against them over two legs, but they have to be serious contenders, yeah. And continuity is important as well. Keeping those players together is important, and they've done that. Right, where are we at? So Canade or Guehi will be benched. Not necessarily. Virgil, and I don't like the term benched at times, but rotated. Virgil will need a breather at times this season. So imagine having the option of resting Virgil and still having Canade and Mark Guehi for the season. And the really exciting thing here comes with something I don't know the answer to, which is what happens if Canade signs a new deal as well. I don't know if there's any chance of that happening or not, but imagine he does. And imagine Canade stayed. What a collection of centre-backs then at the club. Markovic, welcome to Anfield Agenda. FC, appreciate you, sir, becoming a member. Thank you. We might actually have decent depth. said Zivon. Yep. It'd be incredible. Like, if Canade stays on a new deal, Guehi signs, Virgil, Leone, that's the future sorted as well. You know, the future sorted there. You've got your 24, 25-year-old with Guehi. You'd have Canade in his, 26, something like that. Then you'd have an 18, 19-year-old in Giovanni Leone. It'd be brilliant. Have you ever or would you ever collab with Red Men TV? I haven't ever collabed with them, no. Would I ever collab with them? It depends on the context of it. So we've had some communications at times behind the scenes. Always been very cordial, I have to say that. It's the honest answer, and I think the fairest answer is I don't think our styles would mesh. And that's not meant in a disrespectful way at all. We just have very different ways of doing what we do. And they've done incredibly well. And, you know, they're living their dream, which is great to see. And I only wish them well. But I'm also a competitive son of a bitch. And I want to be number one. And not really else to add to it. But honestly, I get this all the time. I've got no bad feeling towards anybody. I've got no bad feeling towards Red Men, the Anfield Rap. Nothing but, especially the Anfield Rap, of admiration. I think they're brilliant. But they all seem to look down their noses at us for whatever reason. And that they can continue to do as much as they want. But sometimes I wish we would all collaborate a bit more. So I've loved to have done podcasts with the Anfield Rap. And I reached out and asked one or two of them to come on before. And they said, not our vibe, mate. No. Fair enough. That's their choice. I respect it. But, you know, all I can do is keep being me and keep plugging away. But what I won't do is play the game, which is turn away from a problem or something that needs calling out. That I couldn't not do. I have to say what I see. And if that's calling out the club, the manager, a player, the owners, I won't hesitate for a second. Thank you for rejecting us, Supermendy, said D-Thug. Look, he's a good footballer, Zubamendi. So Oliver K, what's Oliver said? Alexander Isak saga finally hotting up. He said David Ornstein and Adam Crafton. Dramatic deadline day ahead, but personally I'll be amazed if he's not a Liverpool player by the end of it. Newcastle have little choice but to accept the reality of the situation. 130 million max. Soft kitty, warm kitty. Somebody needs to be singing that to Luke Edwards soon. Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. So sorry, Luke Edwards. Wah, wah, wah. It's coming to the conclusion we all knew it was going to. And again, lots of these deluded people who were parroting shite from the clubs have been well and truly thrown under the bus. And I've said it all the way through the window. There's one thing saying that I'm adamant club sources tell me this. But yeah, you're assuming that they're not talking out their arse to you. You're assuming that they're not going to move and change. And like I said, and I don't know Luke Edwards, but he put his own reputation on the line by believing every word Newcastle and the PIF said to him. So he could have done what Craig Hope had done. He could have done what Keith Downey had done, which is be understanding of the situation and be balanced in it. And I think their reporting has been brilliant. But he didn't. He chose the mock and ridicule and wind up, belittle. That's the route he chose. So you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And his reputation lies in the gutter. His fault. I warned this so many times. Same about people that cover our club. Parrot the club's narrative all you want. But don't then cry when your reputation's in the bin because you've told us all something we knew to be patently false. You either pick You either want the access or you want legitimacy. Which one is it? Simple as that for me with all of this stuff. Think I've done that one. No, where am I? Done that. This one. Do you think we go for a winger in Jan? I've done that. Craig Bomba incoming. Well, Craig Hope actually has been quiet tonight, hasn't he? Have we heard anything from him? So let me ask you guys a question in the chat. What journalists have you enjoyed covering the whole Isak thing? Because for me, I think Craig Hope and Keith Downey have been brilliant. Now, Craig Hope did have that one night where he said Liverpool bottled it. And I understand that because he's emotionally connected to this as somebody from that part of the world. But I think he's been brilliant. And I think Keith Downey's been brilliant. Ben Jacobs has had an unbelievable summer, I think, covering Liverpool Football Club. I think Ben Jacobs has been one of the stellar sources of anything Liverpool over the summer. Lewis Steele, done himself no harm either. Delighted to see he's moved on to a YouTube channel as well. Well done to him. Yeah, it's been a very interesting summer. And there aren't too many who I think look really foolish, except for a handful of people. And there was even a moment where I thought, am I complimenting Ian Doyle here? Because Ian Doyle was a bit ballsy back to one of the Newcastle lads one night, and I thought, don't be doing this to me, Ian. Don't be having me liking you, mate. Come on now. See, Craig, I like the ones that make you swear at the camera. Guilty pleasure, a horrible paper pushers get called out. What's this? Oh my God, so much coming in. Romano said, breaking, confidence at Liverpool is growing. Confidence Isak camp is growing to make this bomb transfer happen. Big night ahead of contacts. Whew, God. See, Carl, you're now getting to the point where you're pushing too hard and people in the chat are having a pop at you. Nobody denies you've been a friend of mine behind the scenes for a long time and a very fair person. But I've asked you multiple times, Carl, to let me get through tonight's work. I'll look back into the Discord. I'll chat with Mark. I'll figure out what's gone on and I'll get back to you. But I cannot do any more than that at this minute in time. And I don't want you escalating the situation worse. Just bear with me, bro. And I promise you, I'll get there. Where are we at? Love you from the LFC Orlando supporters group. Well, that's one particular group that turned their back on me. Not saying you did, but LFC Orlando supporters club absolutely turned their back on me. We were supposed to go over there and meet with, when we were over in Orlando a few years ago, and meet with the Orlando OLSC, and we were also supposed to meet with the Tampa Bay OLSC. And Orlando pulled out, blanked me, blocked me, badmouthed me. Mickey Says account, that guy on X, lied about me, belittled me, lied about the club hating me, everything. And I've never ever forgotten it. But I know it's not everybody at Liverpool Orlando supporters club's fault, but when I needed my back, the only ones that did it were Tampa Bay, and they still met us and they still showed up and they were honest with me, and I've always appreciated that. So I don't know why, because I love to reach out and meet up with as many Liverpool fans as I can, but for some reason that particular supporters club blanked me, and it's stuck with me to this day, Chris, because I love Orlando and I wanted to meet up with you guys when I was over there, but I was blanked and I never understood why. I was blocked, blanked and thrown to the wolves, mate, so I don't know why. But I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Right, Craig Hope. There are no formal club-to-club talks tonight, but conversations in back channels have been going on all week. Isak's agent heavily involved. Liverpool will go for a deal circa 120 million. Newcastle would like 130 million. All info suggests an agreement will be reached. So it's looking really good. And as Craig Hope there said, back channeling is probably the right way to put this, because that kind of marked into what I'm hearing as well. So yeah, but what I will say is, at what point do we start to go, okay, lads, but clock's ticking? Joseph said the Borough are top of the league, 4 wins from 4, up the Borough. Thank you, Joseph. I didn't actually know how they were getting on this season. It's JB said, oh, so now Newcastle are allowing 130. Exactly. They're allowing 130, knowing we're still at 120. But they weren't budging off 150, remember? 110 was an insult. Now 130 is great. It's funny how the narrative changes around this as time goes on. That whole narrative, and everyone that said that offer was an insult, I think should apologise to Liverpool, because it's pathetic to say a £110 million offer was an insult when it's one of the highest offers ever made in British football. Baffles me that the likes of Henry Winter, Shay Given and others were calling that an insult of an offer. What was insulting was the way that they dealt with the offer. That's what was insulting. Where are we at? Watersaw said, worried about Canade if we get Guehi, sell or keep. Keep where possible. Especially if Joe Gomez, Watersaw, is going out the door, which, again, I'm reliant on the info from DiMarzio and Romano on it. So if we are to lose Joe, certainly can't be letting Canade go in this window. Do you keep him, convince him to stay? Is there a world where you could convince him to stay and get him to sign an extension? That would be brilliant. But I guess the only people that know that really are Canade, his agent, and the club. There's not been much. There's not really been much written or said about Canade's contract in recent weeks, which I found a little bit uneasing, to be honest, because I'd love a little bit of info on it. What's this Mark saying to me? I did bring up that, yes, I don't know if Colin missed it, Mark, but I did bring up a super chat because I commented on his image reminding me of Sam Smith. So I definitely did go over it. And I know I'm working back through them tonight. It was, still now I still have a whole handful of super chats I need to get through. Real Madrid is waiting on Saliba, he thinks said Zevon. So, they've also pivoted, I think, to Upamecano from what I've been reading. So Upamecano is in the same contractual situation, I think, as Ibu, and there's been some talk that Madrid are looking at him. I don't know. But again, Canade should look at what's happening with Trent and see it's not all sunshine and light and sugar and peaches. And, where you are now is a damn good club with a damn good manager, with a great squad around you, with a city that loves you. So hopefully he stays. Zuck Ma Doge said, enjoying all the streams, love from Belgium. Thank you, sir. Love right back to you. Another country I've not yet been to but want to go to see. Right, what's this one? So Lewis Steele said, latest on Joe Gomez remains that AC Milan think they can do a deal, 15 million euro, and match his wages are the figures quoted in Italy tonight. 15 million euro match his wages. So I think Gomez is on about 100 grand a week, if my memory's right. 50 million euro still feels on the light side, if I'm being blunt about it. 15 million seems on the light side. I would call Joe Gomez a 25, 30 million pound centre back, but it feels like maybe this would be a situation that Liverpool take less of a fee to reward the player for the service to the club, and a move that might work for him. That's what I think may happen here, because Joe deserves that. He does. He absolutely deserves it. And if Liverpool can live with it, I'm not going to argue with it. We know we've been brilliant in the money we've got for selling players over the years. But if we need to take a hit to facilitate something for Joe, if it works for Joe and the club are happy with it, again, I think he's earned that respect from us. So we've already read through the Craig Hope one, unless there's a new one, Joe Burns. So the latest one from Craig Hope we had was, there were no formal club-to-club talks tonight, but conversations in back channels have been going on all week. Isak's agent heavily involved. Liverpool will go for a deal circa 120. Newcastle want 130. All info suggests the deal will be reached. Spunky D. Luffy said, love from Tip. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Lovely part of the country as well, Tipperary. Always know I'm in Tip when I'm driving by the Bulmers factory. But again, thank you, mate. Really do appreciate you. What's this latest one? So, what's this one? James Milner, speaking about Diogo Jota in his tribute today, said, it's a great honour for me to be able to wear his number in the Premier League, and I hadn't scored for 6 years, and then today I score wearing his number, so that is obviously a bit of a help for the great man himself. Absolute legend, Jimmy Milner. Wayne, TOTT2KZ1, said, unsure about letting Gomez go. If Ibu doesn't sign a new deal, then we need another centre-back next summer. Hope this also means Ibu is going to stay. I've a similar mindset, Wayne. I would hope that would be a good sign as well towards Ibu maybe staying, you know. Because that, imagine that, like, that would be incredible. Imagine Ibu on a new deal, Mark A in, Leone, Van Dijk. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Do I watch darts? I surely do, Sean. Yes, I do. Everybody in my house. One of the few things in my house everybody likes. Isak will happen. 130, said Alex McCall. That seems to be... I still think it won't be 130 though, Alex. I'm not going to die on that hill, but I feel we're going to try and stick to that 120. But ultimately, if it gets done, we'll all be happy, right? If it's an extra few million, if the club are happy with it, hey ho. The big duo, I know this is late, mate, and I know we've already read out Fab's tweet, so I do apologise to you for that, but thank you for the alert. Is Canade injured? So the news was, let me read this out, because I'm scrolling back quite a bit here. Where was it? This one. Lewis Steele said earlier on, Ibrahima Canade thinks his injury is just cramp, but he will be sent for scans and they will see. Jeremy Frimpong thought it was just cramp too. So let's see what happens. I want to read you guys out something that isn't Liverpool related, but is important. Because it's a player calling out the officials. And I seen this earlier on, and it's from Anthony Robinson of Fulham. He wrote on his Instagram story, if they can check something for 5 minutes and still get it wrong, then what's actually the point? Standard of officiating has been shocking in the Prem for too long now. And he ain't wrong. Whatever side of the club divide you're on, he ain't wrong. The officiating in the Premier League is absolutely not good enough. End of. It's nowhere near good enough for the standard of the football. You know, maybe you could go a bit further than that and ask some deeper questions, but something needs to give because he's right. And if the players are noticing it, you can bet your ass that the clubs are noticing it as well. I'd pay to see the twins, Arna and Craig. I'd love to do an interview with Arna. You know, be amazing. I really wonder how Curtis Jones ended up at such a low salary. I don't know what he's on now, Suleiman. What is he, 60? Something like that? Yeah, I don't know all the player salaries off the top of my head, but I know he was on a lower... The one that always got me was Kelleher's. That was the one that really just flummoxed me. Because he was on like... Was he on 6 grand or something? Well, Adrian was on 40 or something like that. It was nuts. Craig, check size, see what Glasner said. It's hours ago, mate. We've talked about Oliver Glasner saying that he can't let Guehi go, but Oliver Glasner doesn't make the decisions. And to be fair, Mark Guehi's done more than enough for them at this point. You know, Eze rang in sick to get his move at the end. Not really much said about that. But Mark Guehi, even today, showed up and played for them and scored for them. So, and I think they just need to let him move. Zumzi said, Craig, how much longer do you think you can go on tonight? I'm loving the stream. So, I can go on a lot longer, but I might have to have a dinner break. So I might have to knock it on the head and come back later on. Because I do need to get something to eat before I collapse. But I feel like it is going to be one of those nights where it's going to go late, and we may have to go late. So let me fly through these super chats. So please don't send any more. Anybody, if you're listening to me now, let me work through these ones. Please don't send in any more super chats, because there's one now from Carl, which was probably written before I said it, to be fair. But yeah, I don't want you wasting your money, so I want to get through these before I do, and then I'm going to go grab something to eat and come back. But let me fly through these. Aidan said, love the channel. Great result today. Thank you, Aidan. Very kind. And yes, it was a great result. Blah said, Arsenal fans have this persona and ego. If you didn't watch football, you think they're the best team in the world. They're a snooze fest to watch. You're correct. And the ego, I don't know where the ego comes from. For a team that have won very little in quite a while, you think there'd be a bit more humility in there, Blah, wouldn't you? Calvin Buckley said, did you see what Ornstein said about Isak? We did, sir, yes. It is all trending in the right direction. Maverick said, hey, Craig, admire you, mate. We get both today. I think we do as well, sir. I do. And thank you. Appreciate the admiration and the kind words. Markovic said, yes, Craig, I'm in Spain with the fam at the minute. I'm very jealous. I'm heading away next month. Well, actually, October, myself. And was at an Irish bar for the game, and there was a few Arsenal fans. It was great seeing Dom make them cry. Yeah, well in. And I hope you were adding salt to those wounds, mate. But well played, and enjoy the holiday. Righteous Gamer said, Fabrizio live streaming on YouTube. He now said Liverpool are in talks with both Newcastle and Palace tonight, trying to get both deals wrapped up. Anthony Packer said, Craig, we're going to be so excited this time tomorrow. Absolutely. And then I'm going to collapse in a heap from exhaustion, dude. Sonder said, you're the goat. Love your channel. Love the community. Love you, Craig, brother. Always play your streams instead of regular Norwegian commentary. That means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, some of the commentary I couldn't listen to either. Boxing, I pretty much just mute at this point because the biased nature of boxing commentary is nuts. All good, Carl. All good, my man. Thank you. We've absolutely 10-8 Newcastle with Hugo and Isak. It's great. Could have had a chance at Hugo. We tried to warn them, but, you know, they wanted both of them up top, didn't they? Scared of us not getting Isak. What if it collapses? It just doesn't feel like the direction of travel is on a collapse at this point. But, again, there are no certainties at this particular moment. But it's pretty trending in the right direction. So, Ben Jacobs and Alex Crook have said Mark A is now told Crystal Palace he wants to join Liverpool. So this one's moving on. Fab just posted, right? I'm sure I'll get that one before I finish up. If Mark or Connor could send that on to me. Jordan said, congrats on 348k. Big love. I didn't even notice we got there, so thank you. Thank you to everyone that has hit the subscribe button. That really is incredible. Thank you so much for helping us get there. We're closing towards 350. How successful do you think we'll be without the big two signings? I think without the big two, I said this and I'm not going to go back on it. I don't think we win the league without that extra striker, extra forward. I don't think we'd have enough over the course of the season if we had an injury. With them, everything's on the table and everything's possible. Thanks for all you do. Much appreciated. Said Jingles. Mate, it's an absolute pleasure and thank you for your kindness and your generosity. And much appreciated, Carl. Love you too. Right, folks. Where's this? Have we got the last one before we finish up? Have we got the Romano latest one? If somebody could WhatsApp it to me, I'll read that out and then go get something to eat. So keep your notifications on. And keep checking because I will be live at probably somewhere between 12:15 and 12:30. I'd say I'll be back. We'll see what the lay of the land is. Where are we at? Just waiting to try and get this Romano one. What are you eating? I have a chicken fillet marinating in the fridge, so that. Mark's typing, so bear with me. All nighter. Not quite, but we will go late. You know, we'll do what we need to do. Right, this one just came in from Peter. Said that Kirkes performance waiting for the new guys. It was brilliant and it was top notch. Same tweet. Oh yeah, same tweet on Instagram. Cool. Right, look, lads, I'm going to go grab some food. Hopefully I see you guys back in half hour, 40 minutes. And thank you for joining us. But night isn't over yet. We've still got work to do. So I'll see you and be back just after midnight. We'll talk then. Take care.